Hello and welcome to PM Personality Profile, which is fast becoming one of the favorite of all the PM series. Now 40 years ago, believe it or not, I was sat in this chair, also having my humble beginnings as these guys are. But I'm here to talk to the woman who made this dream possible. Because women, you find all these big schools. There's St. Martin de Porres, there's St. Teresa's, there's Christ the King, and they were all established by women. And you sit there and you analyze how much they have contributed to national development in terms of impacting children. Indeed, myself, I owe credit to one such woman. Now, this very block we are standing in was where the dream began some 40 years ago. It was just 3 blocks then. Nursery, class 1, class 2, and then at the end was Mrs. Laast's office. And that's where we came through. And today the school is grown to become something else, and names like Ray Kakraba Kwashi, names like Francis Baini, Asante Danso, all came through here and today became people in society. But you know what? At the time, I never had the courage to even walk to my headmistress's office and find out, where were you born? What were your dreams? How did this came about? I dare not. But today I'm old enough and I've mastered the courage. So I have come here to find out from my former headmistress, where did she get the dream from? Indeed, where did the name Martin de Porres come from? Where has she got the passion to still keep going? And indeed, better that. In our days, we thought this was the best thing, ever. Today they have an air-conditioned library, posh canteen, and the school has grown, manicured lawns, and we're still proud to be attached to St. Martin de Porres. I'm here to find out what Mrs. Laast's story is, and it's going to be wonderful. Stay tuned. Well, hello and welcome back. Now, see, there are certain things that you do and then you just know that you're a bit older. So one is, if policemen and women are getting younger, you should know you're old. You see teachers and you think, isn't she a bit young? You should know you're old. But to me, if you are forcing and pressurizing to go to your headmistress's office, that is definitely the key. Now, this is one office that some 40 years ago, even if you gave me money, I wouldn't come in here. But here I am, ringing and persuading and convincing that let me in this office so I can hear your story. Folks, I'm here to talk to Mrs. Florence Laast. And I'm telling you, sometime back, I would never have dared to come to this office. Mrs. Laast, you're welcome.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you very much too for letting me in. And you've educated me, nurtured me, impacted in me, and all throughout I never had the courage to find out who Mrs. Laast is, apart from that, she's the headmistress and don't go there. and that's basically it, and that was enough for us to go through school. But I'm here to find out who Mrs. Laast is. And before I go in, I put it on Facebook, and all the Martin de Porres cronies are going absolutely crazy. They want to hear the story too.
Really?
Well,
I'm honored, actually.
Well, thank you. But where were you born?
I was born in Accra here.
I see.
And later on, when I reached school-going age, I went to Cape Coast.
Before I go back, and then, so who were your parents? Were they educated? Were they
religious? My parents. First, I'm the third born of 9 children.
9 children?
9 children.
Okay.
We have twins and a sister.
Okay.
And my father was Robert Archibald Ferguson Lane.
I see.
He was with West African Publicity Corporation in the Gold Coast. And my mom was Mrs. Matilda Lane, Nee and Son.
So that's my name.
Right. And she was a teacher at Government Girls' School, Kumasi.
Okay.
So, as I've said, I'm the third of the 9. So I grew up, started from Accra, then later in Cape Coast, and I had my primary education at St. Monica School, Cape Coast. And later at the school-going age, I went to Winneba to be with my aunt.
Okay.
I was there for only 2 years. That was 2 years before I finished with my primary education. And at that time, we were writing exam. We weren't calling it BEC. We were writing, we call it hall. We are going to write hall, you know, that kind of thing. So from Winneba, I continued to Teachers Training College at Mampong, Ashanti.
Okay.
St. Monica's Training College, Teachers Training College, Mampong.
I think at the time, St. Monica's was the school to go to.
Oh yes. Actually, that school had produced very famous women. And I tell you, they are very good, both in civil way, and when it comes to home management and cooking, you can be them.
I see.
They are homemakers, very good wives.
Send your daughters to St. Monica's.
You can see them scattered all over the civil areas in our community. Well, from training college, my first station was back to Winneba.
Okay.
And I was there for 2 years. So at the end of my 2-year teaching at the field, I got married to Mr. William Laast, an educationist.
I see.
And at that time, he was attached to the Inspectorate Division of Ministry of Education.
Okay.
The then Gold Coast.
I was just going to say, you know, growing up without a national flag and independence, I mean, was it any different? I mean, I can think of growing up in a country where, you know, it's not like independent.
Well, unfortunately, at that time, we had flag. We were using the British flag. The Union Jack, you call it. And we were even singing the anthem and celebrating Empire Day. During my time, it was King George VI. King George V, yes. And so we had flag, all right.
Did it not worry you, or did it? I don't know what the word.
Actually, we didn't even bother. You know, the thing is, nobody directed our attention to anything, so we took it as normal thing, and nobody actually was bothered. We were going on in life. We were enjoying our life, etc.
I guess there was access to school, there was access to amenities, so then it wouldn't have become an issue then. I don't know, I'm just saying, because if you woke up and you got everything that you needed, then it didn't matter who.
Exactly, this is what happened. You know, there was nothing that disturbed us that will warrant us to ask all those questions. Actually, no, even at that time, we were doing British history and everything. So our minds were not directed to our history, our African history, nor anything. So our concentration, etc., was all on British education.
So did you marry Mr. Laast before you did your trips abroad to study, or you came back before?
No, I married before.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Before I did that.
Okay. And your first posting was in the UK?
Yes, I had a British Council scholarship, and that took me to UK, and I did child development and community development.
Okay.
At Northwestern Polytechnic, Baker Street, London.
Okay.
Okay. And the second part of the course was lectures on child psychology.
Okay.
So I pursued that also, listening to lectures at the university.
Is that why you knew all our tricks?
Is
Is that why you knew all our tricks? You done psychology on us.
Well, psychology permeates through life.
Yeah.
Normal life. That's how I see it.
Okay.
So I'm sure even if I hadn't been there, I still would have got. And then also, remember, I was trained as a teacher.
Anyway.
We did psychology at the training college. And the one who actually made me so much interested in psychology was Mrs. Ifwa Sutherland.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was my teacher at primary school at Cape Coast. And then later on, she traveled. When she came back, she came to the training college at Mampo. And I was on my last year in college. I was at my last year in college. She took so much interest in me. And she would, most of the time when she was around, would ask me to do certain things for her, run errands. We would even sit down and converse like friends. And later on in life, when I even started school here, this is Martin de Paul School, she was here in Accra.
Okay.
And she had just then started with a drama group at the university. So they used this school as their workshop.
Okay.
She was occasionally bringing them here, her students here, and using this place for their workshop.
I see.
It was once a week. She would bring them. And at any time when they had program, she would invite me to go. So I was enjoying her and admiring her all the time. I was really admiring her and somehow copying her. She
good role model.
Yes, she was a really very strong woman. And I realized that she loved seeing me around her, even to the extent that when she was very ill and was hospitalized at police hospital, she sent her daughter, Essie, to call me and tell me where she was and asked me to go see her, and I did.
Oh, that's nice.
That was about 2 days before she died.
That's it. I think at the beginning of March, AC was on the same platform talking. Yes, and when I call her, I'll tell her.
Yeah. She knows. She knows me because of the way that I related with her mom.
Anyway, so you came back from abroad and then you started in Sunyani.
Yeah, when I came back, we were asked to go to Sunyani. It was then a new region at that time, newly created region. They were cut off from Ashanti region and were given the autonomy. So the government selected some few civil servants, senior civil servants, to go to Sunyani and help them settle. And where we fell into that group.
Were you not worried, being that it wasn't Accra and it was too far away?
No, I wasn't really worried. No, it didn't bother me.
Okay.
At all. So we were at Sunyani to start from scratch. Mm-hmm. It was tough. There they realized that there wasn't a good primary school for especially those civil servants that were transferred there to work. Mm-hmm. So I was asked by the then regional commissioner and the local government to start a school for them. So I did.
Okay.
And it was tough, but I enjoyed it because I was so successful. I got the support from the regional commissioner. Anything that I wanted to use for the school, he was ready to give to me. So I was able to reach a desired, appreciable level. Mm. Then I realized that it had become something like a showcase.
Okay.
You know, all of a sudden, because people who came there on a visit would be brought to the school to see what we had. And this went on for a while, and the last person who came, or among the last people who came, was Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the head of state himself.
Wow.
He was there with Lord Listowel. At that time, that was the transition stage when the British was about to hand over the power to us. Mm-hmm. So Lord Listowel was then the governor here, and he was going to hand over the power to Kwame Nkrumah. So he took him round. Then they came to Sunyani. They were at the school. They were there together with some ministers. Then I can remember Mr. John Tetega, Mr. Boatin, Minister Dona Hammond, and his assistant, Mr. Ben Blay. They came there with him, and Kwame Nkrumah wrote on the logbook and stated that he was very pleased with what he saw, and said if we could get 10 such schools in our country, we would go a long way.
I was just going to say, and he said that he was probably telling Lord Listowel that, you see, if you give the black man the opportunity, we can make it. And this is one of such case. Yeah. Well done. Yeah. So how long did you stay in Sunyani for then?
We were there for almost 3 years.
Okay.
Yes. And then we were transferred from there to Accra. And at that time, I had I had all my children, mm-hmm. but the 4 first ones, or what shall I say, those who were ready for school were 4, and with the baby.
Director himself.
So I went ahead of St. Teresa's School, being prepared to, somebody was preparing to take off with St. Teresa's School. So as a Catholic, I went to find out, and I was brought face to face with the nun who brought the whole idea of starting St. Teresa's School. She was busily registering children. So I asked if she could take my children, 4 of them. And she said, write their names. I wrote their names. Then she entered into conversation with me. She asked me what I did before I came to Sunyani, etc. I told her, and she said, you know what? You are a teacher and you are bringing your children here and going to teach somewhere else. And no, I'm not going to take them unless you agree to work with me. And I said, well, you know, I don't have the power to do that, to grant you that request. Because at that time I was working under the Anglican Education Unit.
Okay.
Because I was trained by them.
And the schools were owned by missionaries.
Yes, at that time. So she said, well, okay, we are going to find out what we can do. And this lady insisted. She didn't just leave it. She insisted, and she even managed to meet with the minister, Mr. Duna Hammond.
Hold on. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we want to find out what the minister did. Stage. Well, folks, after 40 years, I get to come here to hear the story. And it's getting exciting. Mrs. Laast, so the minister then was Mr. Dona Hammond.
Yes.
And this nun?
Nun, Sister Francetta.
Okay.
That's her name. And so, but fortunately for Sister Francetta, that minister knew me. We met at Miniba. At that time, now the University of Education.
Yes.
He was one of those people who were sent there from the beginning, you know, to start with that school. And I was also there teaching. And he was also always rather commenting that he saw me always active and being able to organize the youth, etc. He made that remark, passing remarks several times at that time. And lo and behold, when this thing happened, when I was seeking for admission, etc., and Sister Francetta wanted me, she had to apply. First, she sought permission from well, with the nuns, they always have their mother superior.
Okay.
So she asked permission to meet this minister. She was granted, and then she went and told him. And at that time, she had already started writing left and right, in and out. And she wasn't getting anywhere, so this time she went herself. And the minister said, oh, I know Florence very well, and I know what she can offer. And you know what? My daughter also is due to start school. So we'll see what we can do. So she had hope. And not long after, she had a letter, a copy to me, and a copy to the Anglican Education Unit. So I was released.
I see. I won't be surprised if the minister's daughter came to school there.
She came. His daughter came to school, yes. Yes.
Well, of course, why not? Let me put a good woman in there and send my child there to get educated.
And then he said he could see me with a lot of educational ideas, and I can readily experiment my ideas in private school and not in public school, because in public school you have to follow the curriculum as it is, you know, to the letter. But with private schools you can do some experiments.
Leeway, yeah.
And so when I'm put there in a private school, I'll be able to bring some ideas that will benefit others later. And that was the reason why he allowed me to work with Sister Francetta. So immediately I became Sister Francetta's assistant.
Okay.
At St. Teresa's School.
Because I remember when we were here, we had very close relationships with St. Teresa.
Especially if you remember. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. That's why I was still connecting with them.
I see. We used to play football. They used to come and we play football together.
Yes.
So that's where the connection came from.
Yes.
I see.
Yes.
And how long were you in St. Teresa's for?
For 10 years.
Oh, that's good. It's a good long time. So then one would ask, you know, what happened between St. Teresa's and Martin de Porres? How did Martin de Porres come about?
Dan Suman, this community was, as far as I know, was created for flood victims. The flood victims were the initial people who were put here.
From which area? Flood?
Flood, here it was a railway, those who were working for railway, Ghana Railways, here in Accra. And there was a flood that destroyed their dwelling places. So, and they had to be relocated. So they were brought here hurriedly, you know, they were anxious to settle them. So they were sent here as settlers. I think in the process, they forgot that they hadn't provided them with health and education facilities. So it didn't take long and they recognized that they left something. At any rate, a personnel from State Housing Corporation who knew my husband and I, the interest that we have in educating the youth, came to tell us of this issue and asked us if we would like to provide a school for this community. Well, it took us some few weeks. We discussed about that, and we realized that we actually have to provide a school for this community. The community needed something like that, but it should be as early as possible. And it was in July, early July. So, well, you see, it means we were getting to the end of an academic year. So if we had to move to do something, it had to be prompt, very, very early. And so when we decided we would provide the school, we had to start work at once. But for the meantime, State Housing Corporation offered a piece of land, a parcel of land here where the school is now. And we have to pay for. And we didn't have money immediately to do that. We told them but they said they would like to sit down with us and plan as for how to
do the payment.
Do the payment. So through paying by what shall I say? Installment, we had a payment plan, but still we haven't, and we haven't got a complete go ahead, because still the financial problem is there. Mm-hmm. So at once I had to sell my car. I had to dispose of my car. I sold the car and some items belonging to the family. Then we also organized fun fair. Mm-hmm. And sold some household things and clothes and all that.
So we come up with the money?
Yes. And then my mother also gave me some money, and my sister.
Wow.
So with that, we were able to clear the
initial hurdle.
Yeah. Well, we brought the machine here to clear the land, and then we started work, because we had only 3 months to produce a school for the community, and that was our target, and we were able to do it.
So that's the first 3 classroom block?
Yes, that was the block that
had at the end of it.
Had an office, 3 classrooms, and 6 toilets.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, that was the first block.
Well, I must say, you know, I was a pioneer, so I was in one of those first 3 classroom blocks, and I'm sure the camera will cut away and you see where the classroom blocks, and your office used to be at the end of it.
Exactly.
But then I don't remember how it grew, because even though I left and came back, so the 3 was just nursery, or just?
The 3 was kindergarten, class 1 and 2.
Okay.
Yes. And we had 4 teachers at that time to start with, and then we had 17 pupils. So the first pupils of the school, the number is 17. The number was 17.
And how did the name Martin de Porres come about?
This Martin de Porres is a black saint, you know, and I realized that we've heard of so many saints, and we've even read about them, being told of them at churches, etc. And they were all white. In the meantime, I realized that we have this black saint. So I said, oh, why so? At least I can also make people aware that the blacks also have a saint.
I see.
So that is my main reason why
you chose him.
And he was someone who was very caring. That's what I read about him. And he's from Peru.
Okay.
Peru. He was very caring, especially for poor people. And he was put in charge to distribute food for poor people, you know, the underdogs and all that. So he was also nursing those who were not well, the ill, those who were ill among them, etc. Instead of the whites, he was put there completely, and he was seeing to everything that these people needed. And I thought is something that we should know and admire. But then soon after I've done that, I heard of a hospital somewhere, Accra or something, that had that name.
Martin Paris Hospital?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I've never heard of it.
I don't hear much about it.
I've never heard of it. Funny enough, we were told the story about him being very kind and always giving out what he had, but I never knew he was black.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, whatever told, maybe I didn't hear it, but I knew of his kind nature, but not that he was black. And my God, the school has grown up, Mrs. Laast. And when we were here, we thought it was the best thing ever. But now I come and you have an air-conditioned library, you know, wonderful canteen, and can it grow anymore? This is it.
Well, you know, education shouldn't be static. You know, it has to grow and keep on growing. So what you saw when you were here, we never rested on our earth. All the time we were planning and thinking and still borrowing from banks. And one thing was, I'm very afraid of debt. So whenever I took money, I would see to it that I would strictly abide with the payment plan. And when I finish with that, then I go in for another one and continue with the development. So gradually we got to this point. You know, that block that you were talking about, one evening when I was left alone there doing my administration work, you know, after school when all people have left, then I could sit down and do administration. And as I was doing it on the veranda, the corner, I had a vision of round huts. So I grabbed my pencil and I sketched what I had. And this is what you see there, Anansi Chrome. It wasn't on the plan initially. So I sketched that and I showed that to the builders. So they incorporated that in. So that's how I got Anansi Chrome.
I see. At the time you came here, all the other schools in the neighborhood hadn't come.
No. We were the only one here, but we had, or Dansoman had, some few nursery schools. So when the school started, I'm sure they were happy that they got a school in Dansoman, because they were then feeding this school with the children from their nurseries. Yeah. Then, not long after we've established here St. Teresa's School, the head then of St. Teresa's School came to see me and told me that they've also got a plot nearby and they would like to start a school or build a school there. I was very happy. That's what we have, St. Benedict.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was happy. I even helped by giving them, you know, we had some big receptacles to collect water when the buildings were going on. So I preached all to them, and they also started.
The normal reaction is that, no, hold on, you're going to bring me competition because there's not enough people in here.
Yeah. In fact, I was rather happy. The priests who later came soon after sister came to tell me this, he also said it. He mentioned something. I said, Father, the thing is, I hear Dansoman is a very big place, and it's the biggest community or state in West Africa. This school alone can't take all the children. So the more the merrier. I'm happy that you are coming. So I encourage them, especially for them to know that I feel good that they were coming.
It's amazing, but now I know people who live in all the way Kasua who want to come to Martin Paris.
No, we have people even coming from Medina, Achimota, yes. And I don't know whether you know the Enusians.
Yes. Yes.
As soon as the children finished, the parents came to tell me that they were here because of the school. So now that they've all left,
they're moving.
They moved.
Whoa.
And I had about 4 such families coming to tell me this. Another incident came when a parent had to move from here to his finished house. He came to discuss that with me. I gave him transfer for the son, etc. They got there, the son got to school. The son refused to continue from there. And he won't listen to any amount of promises, etc., that the parents were given. So the man had to come back and tell me that, well, he'll have to get up very early and bring this child.
Wow.
We have similar things even now happening.
I'm going to take a break here and then find out from Mrs. Laast. I don't know whether it was done deliberately or unaware, but somehow people who were, well, my age, when we went through Martin Paris, always stick together as if it was the final school we went to and not the first school we went to. Stay tuned. Well, welcome back to this exciting interview that confirms that I am old. Mrs. Laast, all through my stay in London, Ghana, and everything, and you know, all those who went through Martin Paris, we don't identify with the secondary school, the universities, but we go all the way back and sort of identify with Martin Paris. And there's always this Martin Paris old school reunion and clique going on, and we can't seem to let go of that idea that we went to Martin Paris. Well, I know people who went to preparatory schools, and it's not, to them it's not a big deal unless it has to come up. But for us, we make it come up that we went to Martin Paris. Was it maybe the psychology you did that you did on us, or what is it?
I actually can't tell you exactly how that happened, but one thing I knew that time, that we stayed together. We were closely knit together with the parents also, the home and the school. And so we were enjoying each other's company. And you know, it isn't just the teacher's attitude in school that makes a school. The teacher's attitude, yes, and then the interaction of the school and the parents also contribute to the success of the school. To create comfortable atmosphere, comfortable environment. So for you to get a place where the children will be happy and take it as a second home, so to speak, the 3 elements have to work together. The 3, the home, the school, and the teachers. And when they work in harmony. There's this friendly interaction. Each group is free to express itself.
But Mrs. Laast, we used to be petrified of you. I mean, the last thing I would want to hear is saying that Mrs. Laast wants to see you in the office. My goodness, for what? You know, shoot me. I'd prefer that.
No, actually, I don't know, because I'm sure you bear me out that. Did I ever hate you?
Actually, once I was very naughty.
What did I do to you?
I think you caned me because I was very naughty. I knew I was very naughty. I don't know if I
were
can
you
say
a
that.
naughty boy?
No, but on that particular occasion, on that particular occasion, I was quite naughty and with me. But I wouldn't say that you caned. No, no, I wouldn't say you caned. It was just you told us off.
Yes, the thing is, I just love the kids, you know, and I'm sure they realize that I have soft spot in my heart for them. So I will put you on the carpet when I notice that you've done something that shouldn't be done, you know. But then at the same time, I would like to go on and hug you at another time, you know, so that you wouldn't feel that you are deserted. I think that made the trick too.
Yes.
And then, as I said, the parents weren't all that many also, so I knew the parents a lot. And sometimes I would stop by some houses to say hello, etc. And I was driving also myself. Later on, I was doing my own, you know, I was driving, and I was in Kanishi, and I would drive to Dansuman. The moment the children saw my car from where the clinic is, the parents were telling me they would be in the kitchen or in their bedroom, and they would hear, "Oh, Mrs. Laast," because they've seen my car. So they knew at once that I was around. And then also, when people were naughty and they wouldn't listen to us, or they did something that actually is we consider it very bad, we felt the home must know, so that both home and school will be able to correct. So we will invite the parents and tell them, and then we will discuss of how to go about that, tell them what we will do here at school, and then they should do theirs also, so that putting that together, we'll be able to turn the child around for better.
Some of the old students, I mean, are you in touch with some of the old students and where they are now and what they are doing? They must be scattered around the nation.
They've scattered. I hear of them most. I hardly actually meet them.
They're still scared, probably.
Oh, no, I don't think I was all that strict to scare them away. But the thing that I noticed, they wouldn't like me to know that they were naughty.
No.
So they rather, because some teachers told me, they rather ask the teacher to punish them any way they like, rather than being asked to report themselves at the office, because they would always like to present themselves as very good. You know, they wouldn't like Mrs. Laast to know that they were naughty. That alone was enough.
You must be very strong, because apart from Mrs. Laast, apart from Mr. Laast, I mean, you were widowed again.
Yes. After being
widowed for about 15 years.
Being in Hollywood, we are widowhood for 15 years. I got married to Mr. Harry Nelson, who also was 6 years 6 years widower.
Okay.
He was widower for 6 years, and I was for 15 years. So we got married. That was very brief. Well, 10 years anyway, and then he died.
But and then what's the trick? Because everyone says that they still see you the same as they were here, and that you haven't aged. You know, you refuse to age.
That much is something that I can't tell you. I don't know. I just live my normal life, and I'm one person who would like to be careful with what I eat. It's nothing spectacular. These are local food, that's all. But I see to it that I have balanced diet. You know, I have interest in cooking also.
Okay.
I've actually taught home science before.
You
see, and I know food values and all that. And I see to it that I eat properly.
Well, it's working.
And then also at home I work. You know, I don't just sit around. I just can't sit around. I'm always occupied somehow.
Because I was going to ask. I mean, we are Southern Martin Porres in your office, and I was going to ask, you know, why do you still come to the office?
This time I do come, but I don't spend much time here because luckily my son, who was away for 30 years in the States, has returned home, and he's such a good organizer. So I've handed the baton, given him the baton to continue this. Meanwhile, I do come around every now and then, not always, and do my own personal correspondence, or if they want to ask some questions or something, they can do that. But when it comes to running the school, we have the head teacher, and we have the director here. They do that. Very, very occasionally they would come with something that they would like me to probably throw light on.
But aren't you lucky? Well, you've worked hard. I think you deserve it.
Yes, I'm lucky. Even we see that I have 5 children, and they all have interest in it. They bring their thoughts, their suggestions, etc. They even buy things for the school every now and then. Right now there's a barrel sitting there. I think one of them had sent me something for the school.
Okay.
You see, even those who did medicine, I had 2. The first 2 did medicine. The next 2, they are the twins. They also did education.
Okay.
And the first twin had done her master's in education. The second twin, I always tell her that she has crossed the carpet. She had done nursing too, so she has 2 professions. Okay.
Nursing and education.
Yes.
Okay.
The first one had even added, she done her PhD recently.
Oh, see.
Yes.
I see.
Yes. And then the last one did business.
So just before we round up, what's next for Martin de Porres?
What next for Martin de Porres? We are planning, if we could, to extend our services to an area that would appreciate what we are doing. We are discussing about that.
As in moving to a different area?
A different area.
So like a different school altogether somewhere
yes,
else?
Yes.
Under the same name?
Under the same name.
And the same principles, I guess?
Oh, well, I'm out of the picture now. But my own, I wouldn't like to be sitting around doing nothing. So I'm planning of starting some kind of an organization that will help single parents.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think about them a lot. In fact, when I was growing, I related very well with little ones or the senior citizens. So it was tough time for me to decide on which of these two groups that I would like to be.
I'm going to find one time and come back and then we'll talk about your interest. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I have enjoyed it. I wish I'd come much earlier, but I wasn't brave enough. But folks, that's the life and times of Mrs. Laast. And those of you who haven't seen her for ages, well, there she is, hasn't grown a day older since you last saw her. Until I come to you next Friday with a different personality, thank you very much for watching and have a beautiful week.